Something big has just happened today. We got the big announcement for Space Marine 3 from Focus Entertainment. In my typical fashion of upfronting the knowledge in my videos, literally all this is an announcement. I'm going to drag this video on for 8 more minutes because this is my job as a YouTuber. I need to hit an 8-minute threshold. So that's the down and dirty of this entire video. There's nothing really new or fascinating that's going to happen here. We're going to talk about some speculation, things I think that would be cool to happen in Space Marine 3. But that's it. If that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to shut the video down. The only thing here is just, this is like a, here. There you go. That's the only thing that happened. It's a 15-second like ASMR rain slapping off the side of Ceramite video. That's the only thing for the actual announcement. So we don't know any actual concrete details, just a little bit of information here in this announcement that is nothing significant. But let's now get into the meat and potatoes of this in the Space Marine 3 announcement. So coming from the top here, we can see that this was just simply announced. That is it, right? The next installment in the legendary franchise set in the Warhammer 40k universe. Now, this game just came out in September of 2024, Space Marine 2, I mean. So Space Marine 3 will likely come out 2-3 years from now. This is saying too that this is announcing the development. Not that it has been in development or we are happy to reveal that we've been working on anything like that. So this could be a long time coming, but more than likely it'll just simply use the same exact engine from 2, and it will be, I don't want to say a mod because that's just like, it's diminutive way of thinking, but it would be essentially a retoolization of that engine, of that game into what they would want for 3. So it might not take a significant amount of time. When we take a look at stuff like the Call of Duty games or Assassin's Creed games, those were based off of the same engine from title to title until they were like, hey, you know what? Like Assassin's Creed, for example, was like, let's take like a 3-year break and have a shitty company that we're from, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Going through the list here, we can see that Space Marine 2 continues to captivate players, and this new edition promises an even more immersive experience, staying true to the Warhammer 40,000 universe with intense, brutal, and spectacular gameplay. And this is a big thing that they made a secondary announcement after saying this, saying that, hey, Space Marine 2 is not skeleton crewed, put on the back burner, or anything like that. They still have a full contingent of people working on it, and they will continue to support it. So we know that that is coming, and that's exciting to know because we know we have a full roadmap of stuff coming with Space Marine 2. So I think it's important to kind of understand those things before we even go further, that Space Marine 2 is not going to be put to the side. Space Marine 3 is just going to be working full bore now. I mean, you don't usually need a full company's worth of developers working on the continued maintenance and DLC for a single game, right? So what is going to be included in this? So today we are thrilled to announce that the adventure will continue with Space Marine 3. We know we've seen plenty of stuff hinting towards Necrons. We've seen plenty of stuff with Chaos already. We've seen Tyranids already. But I'd love a return to Necrons, to Orcs again. Well, I'm sorry, return to Orcs and an inclusion of Necrons. Necrons are so heavily hinted throughout Space Marine 2, it wouldn't surprise me that they would use Necrons to bridge the gap between 2 and 3 with some sort of inclusion through via DLC coming from that, which would be awesome. Not even DLC, but like, hey, here's a new enemy. It's a Necron, whatever. Flare, I don't know. Players can look forward to an immersive campaign, a multiplayer mode, and innovations that will redefine the standards of third-person action games. So if you were to look at that with that sentence alone, the next sentence gives us a little bit more. It would basically be a Space Marine 3, which is the same game pushed into a third version, with just basically a story expansion, maybe more operations, and another multiplayer mode. But we see this, developed in close collaboration with James Workshop, I know what I said, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 3 will take the genre to new heights by introducing large-scale battles that are even more spectacular. So, I'm going to put your tinfoil hat on here. Your Chapter Master Valak tinfoil hat. I would love for this to be the multiplayer being something like a Battlefield Bad Company, if that makes sense, where you choose a class and you choose that class and you play a Battlefield-style large-scale map. I think that is something that we've always really wanted as Warhammer 40,000 fans, and we got close to it with Eternal Crusade, but Eternal Crusade just didn't have the teeth. We've done it with like Arma mods and all sorts of mods to other grand, big scale first-person shooter games, but I think really what Warhammer 40k fans want is a Battlefield Warhammer 40k, basically. and just not made by EA, please. So to have that done would be amazing, and to have it really that be the multiplayer mode for this would be really cool. Like, hey, yeah, you know, here's your conventional arcade style multiplayer that you had from Space Marine 2. We've ported it into Space Marine 3, but our big focus with Space Marine 3 is a Battlefield style of multiplayer, allowing you to, and I hate the term live service because it's become so dirtied by the industry, right? But there are great examples of live service games that do really a great job. And I would love, though, for that to exist. The truth of the statement, though, is like, is that copium, right? Am I saying like, yeah, I'd love for that to exist? You're going to definitely throw it into this mainly single player narrative game. It's like, no, the drive of of Space Marine 1, 2, and 3 has been the single player narrative. I would argue that the multiplayer for Space Marine 1 was better than Space Marine 2 because of it, the fact that it had like kill streaks, and it was like a loose class-based system, but not really at all, actually. You take that same class-based system that we've got existing through all three of the DNA of these games, throw in some of the mechanics of a Battlefield, and you pretty much have a strong multiplayer. But that is a huge dedication of resources to create that result. So I think it's really a pipe dream more than anything, less of an actuality, but it was something I would absolutely love to see, because, I mean, like I said before, plenty of people would love to play a Warhammer 40K game where they're playing in a Battlefield-like scenario. I think the easiest thing to think about would be Chaos versus Loyalist Imperium, which I think is at the same time too, it's exhausting. We always see that. And I would like to see more races added in from a multiplayer perspective. The issue with it is, it's like, how do you have a class be like an Eldar Guardian against a Space Marine when on a 1-to-1, it's just not a comparison, right? If you take a look at the power scale across the board game, across the fluff, it's just not the same. But you could kind of argue aspect warriors and so on and so forth. But I think that is part of the issue when it comes to large scale battles across multiple variety of races in Warhammer 40K, is that the power scale is so, if you know the fluff, like I said, it's hard to put into a 1-to-1 spectrum. Or even just like, and I'm doing this live, this is a live stream right now, so I'm looking at chat. But another one would be a suggestion for Horus Heresy, which would be really cool. Master Uguay just made that recommendation in chat. So as you can see, though, it says Space Marine 2 has proven to be a transformative game for Saber. It is the culmination of everything we have learned about game development in our 25 years in the business. We're now starting to develop Space Marine 3, a game that carries with it tremendous expectations from our rapidly expanding fan base, which is very true. There are some pain points right now with Space Marine 2 and operations, multiplayer map diversity, weapon expansion. You know, like, are we going to really be not getting any more melee weapons added to the game? Stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see what the future of Space Marine 2's development looks like, because they said they're not going to put it on the back burner, but we do know it says continuously enriched with additional content since its launch. Will maintain an ambitious content roadmap in the coming years. So not just this year, including the upcoming release of the Horde mode, which is a very, very anticipated for Space Marine 2. So a lot of stuff coming for Space Marine 2, I think, is going to give us an idea of what Space Marine 3 is going to include. That final version, we could expect it to hopefully be included into 3, depending upon if Saber and Focus do a siloed game development, wherein they just clone the game at 2, wherever it was, and they just start to add stuff to it into 3. So we'll see ultimately what this looks like in the coming, we probably won't hear any more of this until the end of this year, when we might get more of a taste of what's going on, or maybe during some of the like PAX West in August might give us a sense of what might be happening in Space Marine 3, but I don't think we'll get any more information here for about a year, if not more. But go ahead, let me know in the comment section below. Are you excited for Space Marine 3? Are there things you would like to see in Space Marine 3? Oh man, that was bad. Space Marine 3. Is there stuff that you want to see, particular as far as like, hey, I would like it for this to be Necron related, or I want to go back to Orcs, right? You know what? Let's put in someone new. Let's just have Eldar. Whatever it is, let it be known in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.